I want to address this Arik Gilbert report that Gilbert is back in the news. And for nothing else, if for nothing else, I am hoping for someone who is just covering this story as I speak to the predominant fan base of LSU, as I much imagine that you hope that this story just ends because you don't want to quit worrying about where he's going to play football next season. The same goes in covering this situation where you just like to have something that you can put on the record from an opinion standpoint, or if you're a writer, write. If you're trying to make video, just put video out of where is Arik Gilbert going to play football next year, if he is at all. Like, I understand that there are off-the-field issues with Arik Gilbert, and some that I can't understand, and I'm not even going to act like I can talk about on a public platform just to try to paint a picture of what the situation is. That stuff was an issue and is an issue for Gilbert that he has to get right. And for him to be the best football player, that stuff has to be taken care of. So I don't want to speak lightly about that. I understand that. I respect that. I hope that that is happening up to this point. And wherever he lands, whatever school he goes to, I hope that there is attention every single day placed on his well-being and his mental health. Because he is coming from a spot, or is in a spot, that looks like he suffers from mental illness. And if you've talked to people around LSU, and there's HIPAA and protection laws around all of this stuff, nobody has said anything directly, but it's obvious there are issues. So I don't want to be disrespectful to that. And wherever he goes, I hope they take care of it. As for the football story, this is ridiculous. This is insane. This is amazing.
It was the spring season
that we're here. I mean, rewind the tape 1 year ago. Arik Gilbert is as hyped of an incoming recruit as anybody that LSU has had since Leonard Fournette,
highest rated tight end ever,
Patrick Peterson, Derek Stingley, guys that came in with this 5-star status and cachet of can't miss, superstar, first-round pick, potential top 10 pick, number 1 tight end ever, best tight end, as Jack said, most highly rated tight end through a recruiting process that has ever been. And where we are today, of the stories of off the field, but on the field, of going to Florida, going back to LSU, not knowing where he was going to be, back to LSU, and now the latest report. And this comes from Rusty Mansell at Dogs 247. And I'm reading directly from his report that was published 9 hours ago. A lot of rumors and stories continue to circulate with LSU transfer Arik Gilbert. I have checked with the closest sources I can possibly get with the sophomore pass catcher. Here is what I know. I told you on Thursday that UGA was in this and recruiting him hard. That has not really changed over the last few months. LSU, obviously, the team trying hard to get him back. They haven't spoken with it. They have spoken with his family on a daily basis. Gilbert and his mother were down in Baton Rouge not too long ago, and I am told that they met with the staff. Mansell goes on to write that he is hearing strong rumors that Gilbert is in Athens and could be enrolled as early as today in beginning classes and beginning off-season workouts with the University of Georgia.
What?
So the latest story around Gilbert is that he's going to Georgia. That's the latest report.
How could he even get in right now?
I have no idea, but he's good enough of a football player where everybody's going to sacrifice and going to make sure that it's going to happen. At LSU right now, he only needs 6 hours of summer classes to be back on track and back on target to be on the football field next year as far as his academic standing goes with the university. That's all he needs is 6 hours. I don't know what if he transfers, what would happen as far as credits and all that stuff. But LSU has laid out to Gilbert, to his mom, to his brother, to everybody around him, every single detail that needs to be known and understood for him to be back in good academic standing, to have mental health support, and be back on the football field. And the latest report to come out around Gilbert's situation is that he could be enrolled in Georgia at the University of Georgia today. At what point do you just...
Yeah, I'm just...
Look, it's been a hell of a run and a hell of a ride. You know where LSU stands in your eyes. You know where LSU stands as far as the feeling that they are trying to give you of how bad they want you. If you don't understand that or see that and want to continue to just kind of dangle this thing and go coast to coast or go school to school and continue to, act like this is recruiting. I mean, at what point, if you're LSU, do you just say, look, we got to push away from the table?
It's June.
Right?
Well, less than 100 days away.
June 1st. Today is reporting day. Today, off-season workouts officially begin. I mean...
I don't care how good you are.
It's a soap opera.
And like you said, at some point you have to get on campus. Like you can be as good as you want, but if you're not there and you're not there to learn install and go through the day one stuff that we need you to be there for, you're still not going to play. It's going to take you a couple of weeks to get in. And then if you're the guy that walks in like for fall camp and that's it, like I don't know how much that helps you with your teammates. Like everybody knows the talent that you have. Yeah. But they're just like, who the hell does this guy think he is? Like you can think you just stroll in, and especially if you come back and ask for 2, which is already taken, like your number's gone. So he has a lot to kind of make up with the teammates and get right within the locker room, huh?
As far as LSU goes at tight end, look, there's just not a whole lot of production when you talk about the room right now. They've got names. Cole Taylor is there. Obviously, Taylor is well known, best known for the shoe throwing game against Florida last season, where that was his show. That was his shoe that was chunked late in the fourth quarter to set up LSU for the game-winning opportunity in the swamp.
And I'm not throwing a Arik Gilbert shoe. I'll throw Cole Taylor's if I'm...
Absolutely. He caught 5 passes that night. He caught 5 passes over the last 2 weeks of the season last year. There are questions around him of can he be a true number 1 tight end? You go down the depth chart and you find names like Nick Storrs, who is a converted baseball player that absolutely looks the part.
Yeah.
I mean, like...
It's massive.
Just massive. And can run and can catch. A big athlete, a guy that really comes in with some good experience and was a high-level recruit coming out of your area of the country.
He's from Long Island.
Yeah, he was from New York. But his football highlights are impressive.
Like his Huddle High School?
Yes. I mean, just looking back on the way that he runs, catches the football. Now, this is the SEC, right? I mean, this is a totally different game, and you haven't played the game of football in a while. How does that translate? I thought he'd played more last season, but last season was just, it was nuts.
It's a wash.
It was just, there was a little direction there. Then you see a name like Devonta Lee, where Lee is making the transition to another position, right? Lee comes in from Amite, a decorated athlete from that area of our state, and first came in as a wide receiver, then made the transfer over to linebacker, which we were hearing really good things about him at linebacker. But now with the influx of guys like Bug Strong in this recruiting class, Mike Jones, who is on campus today, as he reports, and other guys at that linebacking spot that are competing there, they're looking for another position for Devonta Lee, and it looks like tight end is the next one up. So you've got names there. You've got guys that are athletes there. You've just got nobody proven there. And that's why I think you're hearing names like Jack Besh of possibly lining up at tight end or possibly some packages inserted for him at the tight end position just because of his versatility.
Did he ever play tight end in high school?
He didn't. I mean, he was by definition a split end, but I mean, when you're talking about 4A, 5A football in high school to the SEC, I think he translates to a inside guy at LSU. He's got a big body. I mean,
frame's not a problem.
The frame's not a problem, but he's such a precise and crisp route runner, and he catches the ball so well that quick passing game around the line of scrimmage to me just is made for him. And the way that Joe Brady used Thaddeus Moss and the tight ends a couple of years ago, I think is going to be, or I know is going to be, the direction in which Jake Peets wants to handle that position as well. I think the tight end is going to be back becoming a serious threat to LSU. Now, you need the personnel. Gilbert is obviously the guy that you would love to slide in and have him ready to go and, just circled and ready come fall. But it just does not seem like it's going to work out. For as many days as it's looked like he's going to end up on campus and be eligible and be restored academically and everything put back in order, there's a type of story like this that blows up from Georgia saying that, I'm sure Rusty Mansell at Dogs 247 has, probably some airtight sources for him to go to production with that, for him to put that down on his site. Is a lot like Shea going to go 247 and putting down any information. How many times is Shea wrong? I can't think of any, because he's usually going there with airtight information of, look, this is what I'm hearing. And again, Mansell's not reporting anything definitive, but it sounds like he's talking to somebody very close to the University of Georgia's football team and a decision maker within that program that's saying, we anticipate Gilbert to be here this week, possibly be enrolled in classes today. And if that's the case, if you're LSU, you got to move on. You have to move on.
We forget those last two games. Marshall left, Gilbert transferred, and it was just such a disaster of that season. And the Florida game winning, and Old Missburg, these guys actually want to be here right now. The previous games are like, do these guys even want to be here? Do they even want to be on the field? And we just forget that. And now bringing in someone's like, does Gilbert even want to be here anymore? It's like, we actually had guys those last two games who wanted to represent LSU, who wanted to play for Louisiana. Do you even want that old toxic culture of the first 7 games, whatever it was he played?
It's a very fair question. And I think at some point when you have talent of this level, it gets to a discussion level of when is enough enough.
It's like the hot girl. She's like, she's too crazy. I don't care how hot she is. I will love my mental health. I'm good. I'll go down a couple points.
I can't deal with this every day, dude. I can't do this every time. But the only thing that I think LSU continues to think is, you just went through of all the possible replacements, and they still don't fill the void of what Arik Gilbert would fill. Like, he is a plug-and-play right now, and it changes the offense entirely. Yeah. Because the way I see it is, if we bring in Cole Taylor, then you have Jack Besh, like, almost in the slot. Then you have, like, almost like a 2 tight end type thing, and you have Cole Taylor chip in.
Well, Cole,
and Jack,
he's just going to be there to block.
Right, exactly. So you have him blocking, and you have Besh as, like, a tight end hybrid. So it gets a little clunky, as opposed to Gilbert, who can come and almost do both.
Yeah.
I see why they're still enamored by him, because he fills an absolute void.
100%. And if, in Pete's offense, he fits perfectly. I mean, he's in a perfect situation. This is the situation that Gilbert was recruited to. Like we said last week, I'm not making any excuses for Arik Gilbert, and I will always respect the mental health stuff that he's going through. But what he was recruited and what he got into was very different. And I know that could be said for the majority and, a lot of the recruits within that class. But Arik Gilbert specifically looked at Thaddeus Moss and, hang on one second. Come in.
That's the dogs, baby. It ain't easy getting here.
That's right.
No.
Good work, Cap.
Come
on in.
Alligator trap, huh?
Come on in, Hunt. Copper, hush.
That's enough. You did your job, buddy.
Good job. Come here. Where was I?
Arik Gilbert.
Yes. When is enough enough? I mean, at what point? When is enough enough? And I'm not saying, I'm reading you what essentially what a message board is saying around Arik Gilbert at the University of Georgia by somebody that covers the program. There's no definitive date. There's no definitive report. But we know how these things work. You know what you go to Shay's board to see, and when Shay gives you that information in that tense, it usually plays out. There's usually good relationships, and there's usually good sources around it. So it's another storyline around Arik Gilbert to watch, and it feels like this will finally be the week that you learn the fate and the school of where he will be going.